Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and iOS 18.5 has been out to the public for a little over 1 month. And it's weird to think that we haven't had an iOS 18.5.1. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But in this video, I'm going to share the overall experience of iOS 18.5, as well as talk about my battery life, battery health, and I'm also going to run a Geekbench score, share that during the video as well. Now, it is a little strange that we haven't had an iOS 18.5.1, and it's been about a month. This past week, Apple released iOS 18.6 Beta 1, and we still haven't had an 18.5.1. This time last year, we already had an iOS 17.5.1. I guess there aren't that many bugs in 18.5. There still are bugs, not any that I faced personally, but there are bugs from other videos I've watched in iOS 18.5. So it's kind of strange to think that we haven't had an iOS 18.5.1. Now, as far as my overall performance running this update, we go into podcasts and we wait for that to load. We do some scrolling here. Everything loads up quickly. Podcast loads up nice and fast. If we go into the app library and do some scrolling, 60 hertz ProMotion, scrolling is nice and good. Now, as far as my battery health with this device, let's see if it's dropped any. And it has. It's been quite a long time and my battery health hasn't dropped, but now you clearly can see that it has. My battery health is now at 82%. Now, I've had this iPhone for 3 years. I did mention that I will be upgrading, hopefully soon. I've been using the iPhone 12 for the past 3 years, but it runs perfectly good on iOS 18.5. Now, since I just started using this device, I've gotten 28 minutes screen on time, 0 minutes screen off time. Since I just woke up and started using this device, testing out the performance. Yesterday, however, it's saying I had 11 hours, 5 minutes screen on time, 12 minutes screen off time. And that is on my iPhone 12. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share my battery health on the iPad and talk about that as well. On my iPad, if we go into settings and we go into battery health, I'm unfortunately not able to check the battery health of the current state, if my battery has degraded or not. Of course, older iPads still don't let you do that, which is disappointing because I would like to know. There are third-party apps such as Coconut Battery, but unfortunately, I don't have a Mac, so I'm not able to check it that way either. Now, since I just started using this device as well, I've had 28 minutes screen on time, 1 minute of screen off time. We take a look at yesterday, I've had 4 hours, 41 minutes screen on time, 9 minutes of screen off time. Now, I'm going to go ahead and run a Geekbench score and share them on both my devices so we can see what the result is. Geekbench completed, and on my iPhone, we scored 2,079 for single core, 4,743 for multi-core. And if I take a look at last week's score, we scored 2074 single core, 4691 for multi-core. Here it is on my iPad, taking a look at the Geekbench result. I scored 2098 for single core, 5052 for multi-core. And if we go into last week's score, I scored 2097 single core, 5081 for multi-core. Now, as far as anything next from Apple, well, at this point, iOS 26 Beta 2 is the next thing that we can expect. I still don't know if I would expect an iOS 18.5.1. At this point, I don't even think iOS 18.5.1 is something that's going to happen, even though it is, for some people, a needed update to fix some bugs in iOS 18.5. Apple is still not releasing 18.5.1. So we might not even get that update, or maybe we will. Apple just needs to do work on iOS 26 Beta 2, probably. Now, as far as the public beta, I would not expect that 2 weeks from now. Last year, I believe iOS 18 Beta 3 released on June 8th, and then the public beta the next week after that was on July 15th. So on July 8th, Apple released iOS 18 Beta 3. Then on July 15th, we had the public beta. So I think the same thing could happen again this year. July 7th, we get iOS 26 Beta 3 with some new features and maybe some bug fixes. Then we get a Beta 3 re-release on Monday, July 14th, along with the public beta. And I will do a video on showing you how to install it. It's hard to say if I'll be installing it. It's just really dependent on if I upgrade this iPhone whilst also keeping this phone at the same time, because I do need a device to run on a stable software. As I'm also thinking about testing it out for a week on my iPhone 12, then putting it on my iPad, as I want to test out some of that new windowing system on older iPads and seeing how that runs. But I might not even put it on my iPad. I might just wait till September and download it in the fall for that device. But I do want to try out the beta once I upgrade and get the iPhone 14, which I'm planning on getting at some point. This phone will be on the public beta, and I will report in the feedback app, which should appear on one of my home screens, which is what beta testers typically get, the feedback app, when you install the public beta. So after the public beta or before the public beta, we can see Beta 3 re-release. Apple typically re-releases whatever beta came before the public beta. It's something that they started with iOS 15, as I don't remember them doing that with iOS 14, iOS 13. From looking at past videos, they started that with iOS 15 Beta 2, re-releasing Beta 2, then iOS 16 Beta 3 re-release, iOS 17. You pretty much get the point. Apple re-releases the prior beta that came before the public beta to get the build numbers to match, so that when the public beta goes live, both the developer beta that got re-released and the public beta could have the same build numbers to fix bugs in the developer beta. And the public beta is usually more safer, but do keep in mind, it is still a beta, and I would not recommend you put it on your main device. If you have another iPhone, like I'm planning on upgrading, and I'm also keeping this iPhone 12, if you have an iPhone 15 or 16, and you have an old iPhone 13, 12, or 11 that you don't even use, go ahead and put the beta on that device rather than putting it on your main device, because I don't have a computer to downgrade if necessary. And if you're also one of those people who don't have a computer, it's safe to just go ahead and put the beta on your older device rather than putting it on your newer device and risking a ton of bugs just so you could try out new features in iOS 26. But either way, I will be showing you guys the new update, whether if I install the beta or I don't install the beta, you guys will see it either way. And my video in September might not be as long as other people's. I may do like a 20-minute video covering some of the features and then a live stream later that day talking about mostly every single change that is in iOS 26, because even with a phone that has 128 gigabytes, like the phone that I'm hopefully trying to upgrade to, still trying to record a 1 hour long video, screen record a 1 hour long video, I don't know if anyone's ever done that. But either way, you guys will get a video talking about every new feature that is in iOS 26, both in the beta and in the public release. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We'll have public betas and developer betas go out in July with a final release in September. And I will keep you guys up to date on both my YouTube channel and my TikTok channel. So make sure you guys follow me on both of those platforms. Both of the names are Hawkins Tech, although it's Hawkins Tech 01 on my TikTok channel, which I got to change it back to Hawkins Tech. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.